And the first thing that really blew me away was AI is not coming. AI is already here. It's basically called the new electricity of the planet. And this is from the secular guys. They're very excited about that they've finally been able to, quote, mimic the human brain, artificial intelligence. And to where they believe it's now super intelligent.
This is Prophecy Watchers Radio, watching and waiting for our blessed hope, with exciting Bible insights you likely won't hear about in church, with your hosts, Mondo Gonzalez and Gary Stearman.
Welcome to Prophecy Watchers Radio. Mondo Gonzalez here in studio with Billy Crone. Billy, welcome.
Hey, Mondo, thanks for having me on.
And we have a great program for you today. We're going to be talking about what I think is an extremely fascinating topic, and I think as well a topic that is very confusing for people, and that is the topic of artificial intelligence. And Billy, you've written several books on this, as well as presentations and other things. You know, right here out of the gate, I mean, I think people in thinking that artificial intelligence has this mystique about it, which can be confusing and other things. But right out of the gate here, artificial intelligence, what is it?
Well, it's just that. It's artificial intelligence. It's basically man trying to mimic the human brain. And this has actually been a desire that's been around for quite some time. We deal with that in the whole history section. But our big thrust in providing this was kind of ironic. This is probably the most exhaustive study that I've ever done on any kind of Bible prophecy related issue. And what I did was, the irony is, I used AI to learn about AI. And I let AI send me articles for 3 years, nonstop articles and videos all around the world. Basically, that was the first Herculean task.
How did you do that?
Google, of course, which is one of the big developers of AI, they have a function on their search engine called Google Alert. And you could basically, with Google Alerts, say, I want every article, every video, or both, and I did both, for a word and or word phrase. So I did the word phrase specifically, not just artificial, not just intelligence, because you'll get everything under the sun. I want every article, every video, you give it to me, dump it to me every week that says artificial intelligence. And so I let that run for 3 years. And then I kept all that. And then the first big task was, it took me several weeks just to print out the articles because I wanted to see them. And then I had to categorize it. Same thing with the videos and that. And so basically it was the deepest dive, and I let AI teach me about itself. And the first thing that really blew me away was AI is not coming. AI is already here. And that's why we entitled the resource the AI Invasion. It's basically called the new electricity of the planet. And this is from the secular guys. They're very excited about that they've finally been able to, quote, mimic the human brain, artificial intelligence. And to where they believe it's now super intelligent, beyond man's brain, and I would agree with that, as far as from a computing factor, but it does not have a soul. They cannot have a soul. A soul only comes from God. But still, the power of that ability is mind-blowing. They call it the new electricity. Why? Because just as electricity, when it came as a new development, it radically changed mankind on a global basis. And that's what AI is. It's the new electricity. It is radically changing everything. And we call it the AI invasion because it's not coming, it's already here. And just like electricity, when it first came out, Thomas Edison was having, and Nikola Tesla, and they're having wars. Is it going to be AC, DC, and all this, and they finally, it was electricity was a buzzword. And then the buzz went down, but electricity didn't go away. It slowly began to permeate every aspect of life, and to where everything runs on electricity now. Same thing with AI, it's the new electricity. It's a buzzword today, but people don't realize it's already infiltrated every aspect of our lives. It's running all the economies around the world. It's running all the supply chains, all the communications. It's running military, medical, go down the list, businesses, retail, everything's AI, communications, agriculture, whatever. AI is now running that system. And I'll make this statement. This might sound kind of obtuse, but let me explain it. Many of us, and this is what dawned on me when I started to go down this road, it's like, wow, this is a huge thing we need to get equipped on now as Christians. Well, this is how important AI and the development of AI is from a Bible prophecy perspective. And here's the analogy. Many people would say, and I would agree, that May 14th, 1948, when Israel became a nation, that was a watershed prophetic moment. And the reason why is because you can't have a 7-year tribulation until the Jewish people are back as a people in the land, because that's a huge part of the 7-year tribulation. Well, guess what? There are. That's why that was a huge event. That was a wake-up call. Well, what I learned is you can't have the events of the 7-year tribulation, and specifically Revelation 13, the events of the Antichrist with the false prophet, where they're controlling all the buying and selling on the whole planet. It's a global basis. They're micromanaging the planet, all the buying and selling. And it talks about a big brother type system because they
Surveillance,
give out an order, which means they're controlling global communication instantaneously. And they also instantaneously know whether or not people obey. So you've got a big brother system that can monitor conversations, whatever reactions and things of that nature on top of the buying and selling. So we've had the technology for that. We've had satellites for a while, computers for a while, microchips for quite a while. But you can't hire enough people to monitor that back-end system that is micromanaging the planet. Well, guess what? With AI, you can. That's why I say the development of AI, artificial intelligence, is just as big of a Bible prophecy wake-up call as when Israel became a nation in 1948. Because you can't have 7-year tribulation without Israel being on the scene. Well, guess what? They're here. You can't have the events of the Antichrist and false prophet without some sort of back-end system to run it all. Well, it's here. It's called AI.
If you just joined us, it's Mondo Gonzalez here with Prophecy Watchers Radio, talking about artificial intelligence with Billy Crone. And when we think about artificial intelligence, at its basic level, it's a program, and it requires a lot of data. You feed the data into it, and then it's looking for patterns of certain things that is programmed into it. And of course, when we think about data, we think about, of course, all kinds of data, whether it's economic or financial, but even video data, surveillance data, TV cameras or traffic cameras. I mean, all this is data that's plugged in, but it requires computing power. Again, it requires data, but it also requires this pre-programmed formulas that they're looking for. They're looking for patterns. What's interesting, too, that as they've done samples with the new ChatGPT 4.0 or whatever, and they'll put in things. Why is it that if you say, write me a paper on A, B, C, and D, but it comes back at being maybe very anti-Christian, or it comes back at being very woke? It didn't do that on its own. It had some pre-programmed parameters that shape it. So it's not 100% autonomous and independent, right?
AI is only as good as the data that it feeds on. And
the software, basically.
Yeah, basically. And all that comes from man. So what man feeds AI, the food, is really the leaning of the AI. And so you look at a lot of people that are developing AI, of course, unfortunately come from the leftist liberal kind of mindset. And so it's not a surprise that their version of AI that they utilize comes out with a leftist leaning mindset, because it is only as good as the data it receives. Now, believe it or not, this is what's called, they learned this, I think it was back in the 70s or 80s. This is how long this has been going on, developing AI. They called it the common sense knowledge problem back in the day. And what they were doing, they were trying to look for a shortcut, how to create an artificial brain, right? Artificial intelligence. And they realized very quickly that you can't do it. That in order to create a true electronic human brain, artificial intelligence, you have to treat it and feed it just like a normal human brain. So how do we grow in our intelligence? Through the 5 senses that God gave us. Through the sight, the hearing, the touch, the smell, and taste, and all that stuff.
Which is data.
Right. And that accrues every day as you experience life. And so that's what they found out. They call it the common sense knowledge problem. There are no shortcuts. You have to daily feed AI on a daily basis in order for it to, quote, grow into intelligence. What people don't realize is the same entities that are utilizing artificial intelligence and creating artificial intelligence have created platforms that creates data to feed their AIs. And I'll just pick on an easy one, social media. We have become the food for their AI. Now, this could be Google, it could be Amazon, it could be Apple, Facebook, and things of that nature. They all use AI. But our information that we volunteer up to them becomes food for their AI, good, bad, or ugly. And so you see these two combinations. These guys, they didn't launch Facebook. They didn't launch Google email and Google Photos and Google search engines, which, by the way, is recording everything we do. It's all data. It's all information. They didn't do that for the benefit of humanity. They realized they had to create massive amounts of data to feed AI. And so they snookered us on the planet to give them our faces, our information, our likes, our dislikes, our pattern behavior. All that is food. All that's data. They call AI the new electricity. They call the data that feeds the AI, it's the next big oil discovery. And so that's the race that's going on. And they realize this, including the militaries around the world, by the way, that they're in a race to create the biggest, baddest AI, because there's multiple versions out there. And you think the ChatGPT is freaky? If you knew what they really have, you would let you go crawl in the corner of the room in a ball and whimper. But that's nothing compared to what they really have, because they realize that whoever makes it to the top of the mountain and creates an AI that can then control all the other AIs, they win the game. That's what's going on, including with China. That's a whole other aspect. China said that they're going to be the world leader of AI by 2030 and thinks that's their goal. And they're dumping everything into it while everybody else is playing little kid games. But basically, we have become the food for AI to create AI in order to mimic the human brain. All social media platforms, all of our financial transactions, all of our records that AI is now controlling. Again, the finances, all of our shopping experiences, the services, entertainment, media, gaming, agriculture, communication, education, the whole medical industry, military, and things of that nature, all that is feeding these and creating the AI. The problem with this is, again, people say, it's going to become sentient or whatever. No. From a computing value, it's going to be more powerful than what man can compute. Again, AI is only as good as the data that it feeds. The challenge is you've got non-Christians with a whole different set of morality that is not godly. You got people who are elites who want to control the world. These are the guys who are in charge of AI. And they're going to use this AI that they created with their leftist-leaning, anti-God, anti-Christian mindset. They're the ones feeding the data. That's why AI is coming out that way.
Yeah, hang around. I want to talk about whether there's any benefits of AI. What we're learning right now is that as we approach the end of the age, the Antichrist system can't do it on its own. It needs artificial intelligence. So as we see it being developed, it's again another sign that we're at the end of the age. So stick around. We're going to talk about some amazing stuff with Billy Crone in the next segment.
Just ahead here on Prophecy Watchers Radio.
That's how they always snooker people. They tell you the one thing, but they don't tell you the back end. Yeah, it could probably create some great new drugs, but it's going to control the medical industry.
Remember, if you're unable to stay tuned, you can listen anywhere on demand at prophecywatchers.com. Prophecy Watchers Radio continues right after this.
Ancient Bible prophecies are coming to pass right before our eyes. Prophecy Watchers is looking at the world through the lens of Bible prophecy to tell the world that Jesus is the only answer for these troubled times. Our newly expanded 48-page color magazine, The Prophecy Watcher, takes you on a deep dive into the world of the prophets with cutting-edge writers and prophecy experts exploring topics like the rapture of the church, the Antichrist, the tribulation, artificial intelligence, and the Great Global Reset. For a gift of $50 or more, you can get this incredible resource delivered to your home for the next 12 months, available in print or digital format. And for a limited time, we'll include 10 Bible prophecy DVDs as a special bonus, covering exciting subjects like biblical astronomy, your future home in heaven, the apocryphal Book of Enoch, and more. Join the tens of thousands of fellow prophecy watchers who enjoy our magazine every month. Don't wait. Stand with us today by calling us toll-free 888-505-7030 or visit us online at prophecywatchersradio.com.
It's a watershed moment. The most important prophetic development since Israel became a nation. The system our prophecy watchers believe will allow the future Antichrist to control the whole world has arrived, and Billy Crone has quickly become the go-to expert. His 2 books, AI Invasion and Tribulation Rising, are jam-packed with up-to-date information on this shocking subject. They're available individually for your gift of $25 or more, or together in the AI Invasion radio package for $50 or more with a free bonus, a copy of Billy's stunning personal salvation experience. If DVDs are your choice, Billy's set of 12 DVDs are also available for your gift of $50 with that same free bonus. And as always, shipping is included anywhere in the USA. Call our toll-free number, 888-505-7030, anytime, 24/7, and ask for the AI Invasion radio package in either book format or on 12 DVDs. 888-505-7030.
Welcome back. You were listening to Prophecy Watchers Radio. Mondo Gonzalez here with Billy Crone. We just talked about kind of the basis of what artificial intelligence holds. But let me ask you this. I mean, we know that not everybody that is involved in AI is wicked or sinister or nefarious. When I think about medical diagnostics as an example, where you can feed all the data of symptoms, of people, scenarios, into a program that's looking for patterns. Are there benefits to artificial intelligence?
Well, and that's usually how people get snookered. They take a look at the benefits, but they're not told the other half of the story. Now, you mentioned the medical. It's interesting because of all topics that I dealt with in this study, the AI invasion, we have 4 chapters, 4 studies, all from the medical industry. The medical industry is radically being changed with AI. And how, of course, they pitch it, they say, like you're saying, AI can handle information on a level that mankind just doesn't have the cognitive ability to study the data that would take man years and years to come to any kind of a conclusion. It could do it in minutes. And so when you're looking like developing new drugs, new procedures for diseases and things of that nature, I'll give it to you. Yeah, it can come with whatever. But again, it's only as good as the data that is being fed. Now, here's the back end. That's the positive side. It'll help us develop new miracle drugs that would take years for mankind. Okay, yeah, right. But the same AI system in the medical industry is also being used against people. For instance, they now want to use AI to determine, based on all this data, whether or not we should allow you to have that surgery. Wait a second. I mean, if I want surgery, I need to have surgery. You're going to give me surgery. No. Because AI is determined that you've lived a long enough life. And AI is actually predicted, and we go into this, AI has predicted that you're going to die in a couple of years based on this. And so we're not going to do that for you. You're saying, well, that's inhumane. Exactly. They don't tell you the other half of the story. AI is controlling, again, still in the medical industry, they're controlling the whole administration side, the payment system, whatever. So now it becomes a control thing. You say, well, man, I just broke my leg. I got to go to the doctor. You go there and they shut you down. Why? Because AI is determined that they've been monitoring your social media posts and you're a modern day terrorist and they've shut you off to that system. The same AI did that to you, but it shut you off from the medical. Oh, by the way, try going to the grocery store now. Oh, by the way, try doing this. They don't tell you the other half of the story. AI is going to control everything on the planet. Now, we know that because Revelation 13 says it's going to happen. But that's how they always snooker people. They tell you the one thing, but they don't tell you the back end. Yeah, it could probably create some great new drugs, but it's going to control the medical industry. And by the way, when the government gets involved in anything, how well does it go? Does it go better for us or worse? Now imagine them controlling the medical industry down to the minutia level of everything you do, and then tying it in with everything about you, because they're using AI to build a platform. Are we a good citizen? Are we a bad citizen? Are we a Trump supporter? Are we this person? Are we leftist? Are we this? Are we Christian? Are we not? Our likes or dislike? And they're building these patterns because that's going to become the new system, the new global system, and you'll either be rewarded or punished. And you're thinking, well, how can they do that? Because AI can manage it. AI can spit out the report for you. That's what these globalists are using this for. It's not for the betterment of humanity. It's for the control of humanity.
Yeah, I think that's really the key. And as we think about artificial intelligence, the average person doesn't necessarily know exactly all the details. I mean, every time you pick up the phone and you know how hard it is to get a real person, anybody you call for something. And that's artificial intelligence. It's listening to certain things. It's recognizing what you're saying. And a lot of times what I try to do is just be like, and they're like, I didn't understand that. Can you, like, let me get you a rep. That's what I wanted. I wanted a rep right in the beginning. But what it's doing, it's looking for patterns. Yeah. And so what we're saying here is that somebody's listening to this program and they're going, what are these guys talking about? What we're talking about is that we are approaching the end of the age. Right. This is artificial intelligence, the ability even to have artificial intelligence, which is being produced, Google, IBM, Microsoft, the military, Facebook. These guys are plugging all of their resources into this because, as you said, they want to be the winner as well as other governments. But what we're saying at the end of the day is that this is another sign, not the only one, but it's another sign added to the convergence that we are approaching the end of the age.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the whole point. It's, again, I think it's as big, I'll say this, I believe it's as big as a watershed prophetic event, the development of AI, as when Israel became a nation in 1948. Because you can't have a 7-year tribulation without the Jewish people. You can't have Revelation 13 without AI. Well, guess what? We're here. That's the wake-up call.
One of the other things that I find interesting and comparative is that we're dealing with terabytes and petabytes and all these other big, in the sense of lots of data. There's a limit in how much we can crunch, but with the soon advancement and perfection of by, again, Google and others, the same companies that are working on quantum computers.
Yeah.
Talk about the ways that, they haven't done it yet, but they're close. When the quantum computer comes, the ability for it to breeze through the data even quicker.
Well, and that's just it. That's the whole computer industry. Before I became a Christian in 1993, back in the late 80s, I was in tech school, and we used to have these conversations way back then. But what you begin to see in the tech industry, and this is always the deal, what they do is they piece out technology. That's why every year is the latest iPhone. It's a business model. Now, they've already got the technology mapped out big time, but there's no money if you give them the latest, greatest 10 years ahead of its time. The money is made when you piecemeal it out. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's with all TVs, electronics, the whole computer industry, all of that, electronics, that's what they do. So my point is, again, you think Chat GPT is creepy? Oh,
that's just what's public.
Yeah, exactly. And you think that if they have quantum, I believe they already have it. But the point is, now you're going at such a rate of a speed that it's far beyond your wildest dreams. You can't even compute this, pun intended. I remember back in the day, in the late 80s, we were talking about the emergence of, I don't want to get too technical here, but back on the circuitry board, you have the resistors and the PMP type material and stuff that the signal goes through on the circuit board. That's your little roadmap signs on the circuit board there. But even back in the late 80s, they were talking about that they're switching over to using light, that the information, because there's resistance in that structure that we currently have, but they're saying, no, we can send this through light, and you won't see that. We'll just be using light. We'll become the highway. And that will radically change the speed. That was in the late 80s.
Yeah, we're far beyond that.
Right?
Now. Yeah.
That they admitted that was already there. Now, we haven't even seen that to the consumer yet. And then there's blips of quantum. I believe that they're already there. But now you're talking at a level where they're able to compute things on a massive scale. But again, that's the kind of technology that you need to pull this off. Because again, it's not just, let's just pick on the issue of, again, business or finances, which almost all businesses and all financial institutions, whether people, including the stock market, by the way, is not being run by guys plugging in a circuit board and, AI is running the system. It's not coming, it's already here. That's why we call it the AI invasion. But let's just pick on the economy aspect. It isn't just that they're controlling the economy of a city or just a person's economy, right? There's apps you can get. They're all AI based. They monitor they don't phrase it this way, but this new app will tell you when you've overspent, or this new app will automatically, without you knowing it, going to save $5 a month and take all the extra this, and you're going to be further on your retirement. That's all AI. But so you got this AI system running your personal finances, but it's not on a citywide level. It's not even on a countrywide level. You're talking about you have to have something that is running all the finances on the whole planet. Do you realize how powerful computing that would have to be? Well, again, that's AI. And you're thinking, well, it better be pretty powerful. It better be on, dare I say, the quantum level. Guess what? I believe it's already here. And again, what's the whole point? The whole point is this is the infrastructure you need to pull off these events in the 7-year tribulation. And if we see the technology already here to be able to pull it off, what's the common sense conclusion? Hey, the rapture of the church, which happens prior, we can't be date setters, but it's got to be getting close because we're out of here before all that starts. But we see that technology already here today. That's the important part.
Yeah, that really is. I mean, I think as Christians is that we are going to, I actually think we're going to see a lot more, before the rapture happens, because again, all this is setting the stage for what we know is mature and perfectly ready for the Antichrist to walk into. We're not going to go from Mayberry to the Antichrist beast system. I mean, we're going to see the progression and the growth. And so this is a great opportunity for us, again, as we discuss these things, that as people, if you're out there and you're looking, you're wondering, what is the evidence for the end of the age? Well, as we've been discussing today, we see, again, the main focus during the tribulation is the nation of Israel. Well, Israel came back in 1948. Well, the main focus you see in Zechariah 12 is the city of Jerusalem. Well, it's interesting that they took control of the city of Jerusalem in 1967. We see all these things happening as we look around. We see the World Health Organization, the United Nations, the World Economic Forum. We see all these things coming, and they're here, and they're having meetings, and we've seen pandemics and control and shutting things down. And so artificial intelligence is simply another one of those signs that the convergence that we are at the end of the age. And so, Billy, I appreciate your time today. Encourage people to check out your work on artificial intelligence. And if you're listening, again, the goal for us is not to scare people, but it is to warn people so that you put your faith and trust in Jesus Christ. And that is exactly why we are here. So thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
The media ministry of Prophecy Watchers exists only through the faithful prayer and financial support of friends like you. It's in times like these we're reminded just how essential this gospel-centered Bible ministry truly is. So, won't you do what you can to keep this teaching on the air? You can make your gift by calling 888-505-7030. That's 888-505-7030. Or another easy, secure way to give is online at prophecywatchersradio.com. That's where you'll also find out about that special offer on our popular print and online magazine, The Prophecy Watcher. Or you can mail a check to Prophecy Watchers, P.O. Box 20530, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma 73156. Thank you for your prayers and gifts, and for listening to Prophecy Watchers Radio.